with the Ashoka on it. Now, the problem is that I couldn't reproduce the whole thing. What I would like to say to all of you, the Ashoka was the outfit that was chosen Africa Fashion Week Nigeria 2016. 200 stores worldwide. Each store made with 1,000 pieces. I couldn't leave that order. And so there is a movement about to start here. And I think it's just starting on that. So as I said, okay, so you've covered quite a lot. You've covered the future of Africa, what African fashion is. I have another sort of question that I'd like us to address, and I know that we can address it from here, and that is about what you see about creating jobs and women empowerment. I'd like us to look at the women behind the scene. I'm going to open it up. If you can talk about women empowerment, job creation, and also, most especially, there's another thing that I would like to revive from here, and that's fair wage. So, because that's you are talking to get the fair trade. So, my question is, what does the fair trade mean, and how do you see empowerment of women through? I will stay on the thread of the Ashoka, if that's okay, through this Ashoka conversation that we're trying to talk about.
We are all familiar with the argument around empowering women if we want healthier communities and if we want to achieve all our development goals. Sadly though, a lot of our leaders and policymakers only pay lip service to that. Now, and so it's very easy to then slip into quick fix schemes or programs. What are these women always complaining about? I've just done empowerment for women. And when you ask them what they mean by the empowerment they've done, what they mean is they've given them some food items, or they've given them some sewing machines, or cookers and freezers and so on. And those of us who are in these positions as first ladies, we do that as well. But there's also a case to be made for ensuring that you can work with women on the things that are important to them, on skills that they already have. Maybe they've inherited those skills, or maybe they had a particular kind of training or exposure in that area, and all they need from you is added support by way of financial resources, or to help them with equipment, or to help them with networks, markets, and so on. And if we're able to do those things, then we can say we'll truly be empowering women. Because you can't empower women if they are not free to make choices, if they are not free to access capital, if they are not free to travel around and create their own network. And so these are things we need to do. Again, I want to use the word intentionally. And so in my state, for example, after having realized that we have so many women who are still in the weaving industry, but they cannot produce to scale. So if you send me an email from London and say, Your Excellency, can I have 5,000 pieces of ashoke to meet my order with, I don't know who placed the order, I don't know if it was Selfridges or Harrods and so on, we would struggle to meet that order because with the tools they have at their disposal, they can't produce to that scale within a certain period of time. So I think it's important to be able to try and do that as part of our program of work, empowering people going forward. So the network of Ashoke weavers in Ekiti State, for example, I'm going to be doing a lot of work with them. I'm going to see how we can get a production hub going for Ashoke in the state, so that they all don't have to have the same kind of equipment. Because the equipment is expensive, good thread is expensive, and all the other things they need for the line of production. But we can set up hubs that they can use, not just the weavers now, even the fashion designers, those who are making the clothes and so on. Oh, I see some of that people that. Do you have a people from Ekiti here? Where are you? Okay, no way. I think all that is important because, and these are quick wins for us. It's not hanging fruit. if women are able to address issues to do with their livelihoods, then other things can fall into place. If a woman has a livelihood, she's less likely to be trapped in a violent relationship. She will be able to make informed decisions about the education of her children. She will see the value in ensuring that she has a voice in what goes on in her community, and that way will get more women in decision making. Who says that from some of these fashionpreneurs we have here from my state, one of them can be a councillor or member of the House of Assembly or hold a very important position based on the skills that they have. So for those of us to wrap up who say we want to empower women or work on women's empowerment, we need to be able to use this industry as one of our test cases to see how far we can go to enable women have a meaningful livelihood.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, indeed. I mean, this conversation, like you said, you didn't know which way it would flow. And I must say, I think it's flowing really nicely from, starting with Erelu, my dear, older, and wonderful family member, to my dear First Lady colleague who works so hard. And, we try and work together on so many fronts. And to you, I mean, like she said, it's very, very tasking and important a role that you're playing today. So, you talked about the issue of women empowerment and also fair trade. I'm happy to report that, we're a little bit further ahead in the Ashoke industry inquiry, as we said. We still produce it widely. We still use it widely. It's very, very widely used. And you know about the weddings and the way the brides are dressed in their ashoke and everything. So what we've done so far is to make sure that we've partnered with a lot of NGOs and we've tried to empower so many women. Counting so far in the last few months, we've done over 1,000 women in the metropolis, and then we've gone also into the more rural areas to try and make sure that we revive all these industries. Now the women and the men actually, because we actually have some men participate, which I'm very proud of. And what we've done is, like you said, we shouldn't just have the quick fixes of saying, oh, I've empowered women, or I give you this training tool. What we discovered was people would easily sell off those training tools, and then, within a couple of weeks, they're back in the poverty cycle. So it's important to give them lasting skills. So they train, and then we encourage them to retrain others, so that by the time you finish your training, we need to see a couple of people that you bring on board and also train, so that, we get more skills across the board. Now they're able to sell. They sell widely. They've done so many things like pomade, hair and body lotion. They've done things like wallets. They've done the ashoke, obviously. They've done adire, obviously. Shea butter, and so many other things. We have about 20, 25 things that they've all been learning to do. And we're very happy to see the enthusiasm and the progress. And the way this is transforming their lives, and the way they live, they're earning because they easily sell these things in the market. Like we said, there's one party, there's one event, there's one wedding or the other. So they find that they're able to sell these things really, really easily and make some money. So this is putting smiles on faces. And the issue of making sure that they all sell in a certain way. I'm happy that we have very active Yolojas and Babaloja inquiry. They're extremely active. They hold meetings and they help me. They're always in touch with me. They visit me all the time. And they make sure that the price points are kind of like even, and nobody, you find very quickly that if you overprice things, you get yourself out of the market really quickly. So they manage to make sure that things are okay and are selling well. And that way we're happy to see that we're transforming lives. And I just hope that we can do it faster and on a much larger scale, as everyone has said here. If you have, like you said, you have an order for 5,000 pieces, will you be able to produce those 5,000 pieces? So I think this is the conversation that we need to really step up, make sure that we can build the capacity, build our industries. I'm happy to say one of the designers here has a factory that we are showcasing tonight. She actually has a factory and is doing quite a bit. We have quite a few Kwara people here. I can see my dear colleague Afwn, who actually walked with me. We had a walk recently in Kwara on the 16 days activism on gender-based violence. And this was to step up the campaign on, making sure that we reduce this scourge in our society. And he was right there alongside me to do the walk. And I think it was well received across the state. So thank you for that. Like I said, we have a few men supporting us as well. So yes, I think I'll stop here.
I'd just like to chip in. It's wonderful to hear our first ladies tell us what they're doing in their states. It's quite gratifying. I have noticed a culture that has developed. It's not traditional. It's perhaps political, but it's a culture all the same. And I think it's part of what we should take away. We don't want to be given fish. We want to be taught how to fish.
Yes.
Most of the time, especially during the political activism, and because the women they form the major part of the electorate, no matter what they say, they're the ones who see queuing up most of the time. They're the ones dancing, they're the ones, cheering. And they're given consumables. And they seem to be happy and go home on their merry way. That's not what we want. I think that kind of culture, we should desist from it. I think when someone supports you politically, forget about giving her rice, beans, and all that. Empower her. Give her something to empower her. And because these opportunities come once in 4 years. What am I going to do with 4 bags, 1 bag of rice for 4 years? But if I am empowered by my candidate, I say, okay, what are your own areas of preference? What are your own areas of interest? And somehow, all that huge amount of money we use for consumables, we use to empower these women. What we're talking about will not just be in states where the first ladies are enterprising. It will be all over the country. And you find that majority of those that will be empowered will be women. Please, talk to your state assemblies. We must desist from giving consumable to our followers as politicians. If we can achieve that, a whole lot more of us will be empowered, and it will be widespread all over the country. Ashoke production. I talked about technology. Like the president of Afwn said, you went to China, and by the time or even as the first lady of Ekiti said, for Ashoke, you find that you have Ashoke being imported from China. What stops us from producing those quality of ashoke here in Nigeria? Because as we said, the hand-woven ashoke is very expensive. How many people can afford? So we need to use technology to be able to produce cheaper form of ashoke. And like I said, you go to Indonesia, you have these buildings. In one building, you can find something of #1 that some people can afford. And if you can afford more, by the time you get to the 10th floor, the same kind of fabric, woven in amazing threads, laced with gemstones and all that, just like the Yoruba people. We all wear buba and iro, but I can use Ankara to make my own buba and iro. and I can use the heavily embroidered ashoke. So you can always find your own level. That is what we should aim at, and that is where the technology can come in. Your Excellencies, Madam Fadan, we need to collaborate.
Yeah.
We need to pull our strengths together to be able to influence corporate bodies, governments, special intervention funding organizations. I believe you have for agriculture and so many other things. We need to fight vigorously for the fashion industry. Fashion industry is like the Ministry of Culture. You know, in Nigeria, culture should be the foremost industry, ministry in Nigeria. But you know, culture ministry is always an appendage, either of youth development or of sports or of tourism. But culture in itself is our identity, is who we are. Our success will be built on our culture in any area, education, industry. If you don't take into consideration your own culture, your own reality, you're not going anywhere. You just be aping other people's successes, and you cannot achieve the best. So we need to gang up, we need to pull together, we need to fight for culture, and therefore, by extension, for the fashion industry. Thank you.
I think we need to reframe the whole conversation around fashion. Because when people hear the word fashion, the only thing that comes to mind is someone wearing a nice dress and prancing around. Fashion is a business, a multi-billion-dollar business. And so we need to try and develop the language and the capacity to be able to have conversations with investors from the private sector as well as our policymakers for them to understand that we mean serious business. When I wanted to add fashion into the Ekiti Entrepreneurship Week, for example, as a component, there were one or two who gave me funny looks like fashion shop.
As if it's peripheral.
We are talking about entrepreneurship, we are talking about people bringing agricultural equipment. They are training people. They are training people who are going to be able to earn their own livelihood. Hopefully, those who are going to go on and train other people as well. That is called empowerment in the fullest sense of the word. So that we need to all come to terms with the fact that fashion is a business. It's not just something that rich, idle people do to while away the time.
It just takes me back to when I was really young, when I was in school. I was to the law school. And my mom just found out that I had friends for painting, drawing, and all that. And my mom just said, I think you should go in for fashion. Because I was always transforming her by, and everything. And my father was like, fashion, tailor. That was what my dad said. He said, tailor. And from the part of the world that I come from, Ekiti, tailor is not work. It's either you're a professor, you're a lawyer, you're a doctor, you're an engineer, and my parents were, so they were like, tailoring. So it just shows the way the country itself has attached